Sana to the Bread of Life Devotionals. We are continuing our study through the book of Zechariah, and today we wrap up chapter 1 and we look at the remaining verses of this chapter, which is verses 18 to 21. And here we see a vision that Zechariah sees, and he sees four horns. And he's wondering, what do these four horns mean? And he asks, what does this mean? And God says that these are the nations. They represent the nations that scattered Judah and Jerusalem when they were in punishment, when God was disciplining them. At the same time, Zechariah sees also a vision of four craftsmen. Other versions would call them four blacksmiths. And also Zechariah seeks to find out what does this mean? And God says that he's also raising other nations to punish the nations that he used to punish Judah and Jerusalem. And here we see how God speaks a word of comfort to his people through this vision. If you remember in our previous video, in this same chapter, God spoke a word of comfort to these people, that is his children, the children of Israel. And he says that he was, even though he was a little angry with them, but he is now angry with the nations the nations that he used, that is Babylon and Assyria, to punish them because they acted beyond the divine purposes of God. And God says that they acted with evil intent. And so he is now rising to judge them because they acted beyond the intended divine purpose that God had for them. And so here God is speaking a word of comfort to his people to tell them that he actually took note, that he actually sees when evil men, rise up and to do evil to others. And that should be a word of comfort to us, because when you consider the book of Habakkuk in chapter 1, when God describes these nations, Babylon and Assyria, because when he's talking to Habakkuk, he's telling him, I'm going to raise up some people to come and do something that you've never seen in your time. And of course, it was not a good thing, because God describes these nations with scary imagery. And he says that when he considers their swiftness, when he considers their army, the imagery there is quite scary, because they consider themselves, they didn't consider any other being or any other power, because it's like they were a god in themselves. And here we find also a similarity with the struggle that the psalmist had in Psalm 73, when he looks at how the wicked are prospering, when he considers his own commitment to godliness, he feels discouraged, because when he looks at the ease with which the wicked are at, he's wondering, where is the benefit of me living a godly life? And here in this vision, God is also speaking to us, and is saying, you know what, I actually see, I take note of evil in the world. If you remember the first vision that Zechariah saw, it was a vision of horses and horsemen and riders upon them. And God had sent them to patrol the earth and to come and give him a report of actually what was happening on earth. And they reported that the earth was at peace. And so that tells us that God is actually aware. God is present, in our world today. When we see wickedness, when we see evil around us, wicked men prospering and they are at ease, and we wonder, what's going to happen? It's as if evil is prevailing. It's as if God is silent and is quiet. But this should be an encouragement to us to know that God sees, God takes note, and God judges evil. God judges wickedness. It may seem as if evil is prevailing. It may seem as if evil men and women are getting away with their wickedness and their oppression. But we should be encouraged to know that God sees and God takes note, and God will judge because he is a God of justice. That is my reflection for us today. Could you be oppressed because of the evil actions of people, maybe at your workplace, maybe where you live, maybe in your nation? As you consider, you wonder, will God do something? I want you to know that God sees and God takes note, and God will act because he is a God of justice. Please share with me your comments and your reflections on these last verses of this chapter. Thank you for taking time to click on this video. Please share with your friends. If you're new here, please subscribe and let us continue journeying through together as we hear what God has for us through his word. May God richly bless you.